I will be presenting on how to measure the greenness in Green IoT. So I come all the way from India to deliver my talk to you, and I hope everybody is going to like it. So I would start from where Frank has left us yesterday in the keynote, where he was talking about how to convert the negatives into positives, how to join the bits into beats to make a new innovation. And he talked about quite a number of smart projects which are going on and which are leading to the greenness of planet. So in my talk, we'll be talking about an integral component that is IoT, which is integrated into our lives, and how to make it green. So this is the outline of my talk. So way back in 1990s, there was a futurist who predicted that everything will be connected to everything else. And thankfully, we are in that era and that realm that we are witnessing that particular thing. So here now, humans talk less, and machines are talking more. Internet has revolutionized the entire world, leading to communication and connectivity, wherein systems are talking to humans and systems are talking to systems in a scale unknown. And all these marvels of the technology we all are witnessing. So is it all that we have? No. It has a few challenges too. And the challenges are related to societal changes, technological changes, as well as environmental changes. So the environmental challenges goes as follows. So as we know, the number of connected devices have increased a lot. They have become humongous. By 2030, we will have almost 30 trillion devices being connected to each other. What is it leading to? It is leading to high energy consumption. As all these devices are on all the time, they are consuming electricity, the energy consumption has gone up, and it is again predicted, I'm just saying the stats, by 2030, it will rise up to almost 30 terawatt hours of energy that would be needed by different countries. The usage of batteries has gone up. Electronic appliances production have increased humongously, and this is leading to rise in landfills as well as rise in electronic waste. And we are also consuming a lot of greenhouse gases, which is being consumed as well as being emitted by all these devices. And all this is leading to something known as global warming. We all are again seeing the major climatic shifts that are being happening across the world, isn't it? I never expected coming to Budapest will be like being a summer in October. I got all my woolen clothes, but I'm not being able to wear it. It's so much heat out here, right? Way back, I come from Rajasthan, India, which is a desert area. But again, we are witnessing a huge amount of rains. Otherwise, we never had that much rain. It was very hot at that time. So these are major climatic shifts, and all this is reason of the things that we are doing, the technology that we are consuming. But what should be done? Should we stop using the technology? No, I'm not saying to stop using the technology, because ultimately the fruits of technology are to be enjoyed for leading a beautiful, smarter, safer life. But again, what do we have to do? We have to start being green. For being green, what do we have to do? We talk about green building, green automation, green cities again, but we have to follow our own bit for being green. So, of course, all the countries are getting united under UN principles. There was a Paris Climate Agreement that was signed in order to reduce this carbon emission to 1.5% every year. But it is, the main onus is on our technological people, we as technology holders, that we should design sustainable technological solutions for building a greener, a safer society for our generations to come. So thus, we don't have to do away with IoT, but we have to make our IoT green. And for greening this IoT, what do we have to do? Green IoT is nothing but it is a mesh of connected devices wherein we are using sensors, microcontrollers, actuators, and other connected devices in order to generate data and in order to do our day-to-day things. All we need to do is make it more sustainable and energy efficient. So all the sustainable and energy efficient procedures that are being used by IoT and that has to be put in IoT are part of your Green IoT. And the aim is to reduce the energy consumption and to build a safer as well as smarter society. So what we have to do, we have to use more and more of renewable sources of energy like solar, wind, hydroelectric, etc. And in fact, I had a talk with many of the companies outside. They all are shifting towards these solutions. In fact, yesterday I had a word with for somebody from Silicon Labs, and that gentleman is here. I had a detailed discussion how you are following these green practices. So they all are shifting towards this particular solution using recycling of material, renewable sources of energy, etc. This will make our world smart as well as safe. So smartness is one thing, but safety is more important for the generations, for our future generations to come. Also, we have to build on industry standards and technological protocols which are green for doing this. So the question comes again, how to measure this greenness? We are talking about Green IoT, but how to measure this greenness? Now, as we being developers, we being testers, we have to build greener solutions, but for building those greener solutions, we have to integrate this sustainable solutions in the entire life cycle of your software development, right? Because IoT has three things: software, hardware, and network. So we being testers, what is our aim? We have to test how green is the solution that is being built by the developer, right? So entire software development life cycle needs to go green, right from your green design to green coding, green software testing, and green maintenance. Now, what is the goal of testing? Everybody knows we have to do effective test case execution to achieve near zero defect quality software. But when we talk about it from the aspect of energy consumption, software testing is one of the most expensive energy consumption tasks. Reason being, when we are testing, our CPUs are working extra. And when CPUs are working extra, energy is being emitted. So CPUs are working at unknown times and extra working in order to deliver the quality of the software which is 100% reliable. So it requires infrastructure, it requires computing resources, it requires software. And we are emitting out carbon. But for being green, we need to do clean testing as the image shows. The testing nodes needs to be going clean. And for this testing being clean, we have to adopt sustainable procedures, like we have to do smart test case selection while testing our software. We have to use different control mechanisms, like which test cases should be run in order to get the maximum testing done, major coverage, and less of test cases being executed. This will help us to go sustainable and build sustainable solutions which will save upon cost, which will save upon energy. So it's not just the cost, it's also saving upon the energy. So this is a test strategy to test the greenness of Green IoT. The good point is, this test strategy everybody can relate with. We are all using a similar test strategy to test any software quality product. So we need to understand the requirements of Green IoT, identify the critical components, define the test scopes, testing techniques, then test cases, regression testing, testing tools, and how to do collaborations. We have been talking about collaborations since yesterday, right when Merit started. In fact, I was having discussion with Merit about my topic also, and she gave me a beautiful example how this energy can be used to fill the balloons and check it out how much energy is being used. OK, so what we are going to discuss for being green. So these are the points that we'll be discussing while measuring the greenness of Green IoT. We'll be talking about testing types. We'll be talking about test environment, test data requirements, different metrics, and the factors that we are to consider for doing this are three major factors: energy consumption, environmental impact, and the user satisfaction. Now, when we talk about energy consumption, everybody knows that we have to lower down our energy requirements because it is impacting the environment. User satisfaction, a normal question will come to your mind: why user satisfaction? Ultimately, it is the product that we are building for the users. So the user should be aware about the energy requirements of that particular product and why it has been lowered, so that a product which is delivered to the user gets satisfied. That is our ultimate aim, isn't it? OK. Again, when we talk about testing types, the good point about this testing types is that you all can correlate with these different testing types. So we have to do functionality testing, we have to do performance testing, we have to do security, compatibility, usability. All we do for other products, the same we have to do for Green IoT. The extra ones are environmental ones, power consumption testing that we have to check. We have to check upon usability testing and the compliance testing. OK, when we talk about the test environment of a Green IoT system, now, test environment mimics the production environment, right? But in the IoT, we all know there are multiple devices which are connected off the site, on the site, and they are communicating with each other. And there are emulators or simulators which are not a part of IoT environment. So our testing environment should be such that we maybe adopt or we put power meters to measure the energy consumption of different systems. So while developing those chips, we have to test them in order for them to be low power. Then we talk about the test data requirements of our Green IoT system. IoT is one concept which is generating data each and every fraction of seconds. And thus, we get something known as big data. But this data is of a huge variety. Why? Because this data is simulating different environmental conditions like temperatures, humidities, etc. It is simulating different network conditions. And it also has different usage patterns and usage behavior. Also, data that is being simulated, it is being going on different type of hardware and software configurations. So compatibility needs to be checked while checking your test data requirements. So let's look at the key performance indicators in Green IoT ecosystem. The KPIs, as you can see, are power consumption, network performance, environmental conditions, system performance, and user satisfaction. We need to quantify energy efficiency with different metrics like PUE and energy efficiency ratios. In fact, these are being widely used in the industry. And we are monitoring energy consumption using energy profiler kits. Now, being a tester, we should look at the test cases for GIoT system. So these test cases are sample test cases, but not limited to these test cases. So the test cases can be related to power consumption, network, energy harvesting technique, battery life testing, and so on. In power consumption testing, we can test how much energy is being consumed by my device. We have to verify that system adopts optimization techniques. When in idle state, the system should move to low power state or it should go to sleep. So we have to check upon demand sleep scheduling. Then we can also check when it is not being used or we are using battery, then it should again move to low power mode. In network testing, we have to check whether we are using green Wi-Fi's. Is machine-to-machine communication being green? So we have to check our network protocol should be energy efficient like Zigbee or Bluetooth. And we have many open source APIs which are being used by power chips to become low power chips nowadays. And we have to verify whether the data aggregation is being done or not, so in order to reduce the energy consumption. Yesterday, I was having a talk with one of other vendors. They have developed a machine which was running for entire 24/7. They have developed a system to reduce those long working hours to be energy efficient, and they have that well-tested system for industrial automation that the CPUs or the system will be up only when required, and it will be put down at the night time. Then there are test cases of usability testing, environmental testing, where you have to check upon whether the system can adjust its energy consumption based on ambient light levels, or system is, again, easy to use and understand. The system should be giving feedback to the users and alerts to the user that, OK, this much has been used. Now you're reaching your limit. Please control yourself about the usage of that particular device. What are the GIoT test metrics? And the common ones we are discussing here. So these are the common test metrics that can be used for any GIoT system. This is related to energy consumption, network performance, environment, usability, and security. So I'm not reading the slide. So these are the common metrics. OK. When you are using test cases, you are definitely going to find some defects. What are the sample defects that are related to measuring the green IoT? So these are the defects that you are going to find while doing your test cases, running your test cases. So maybe the system is not being able to switch to a low power consumption. It is not being able to go to the idle state while it is not in use. And then inefficient use of sensors is being done. Nowadays, for saving upon CPU, the sensors can communicate with each other, and directly they can do their work. So this can also be tested for checking out the greenness. In network defects, you have to check out whether your network is eating up energy or it is using more of power as needed. So what happens is when energy is dissipated, it should be utilized in such a way that total energy gets spread in different particular tasks, right? These are the environmental sample defects that you can get, that under different temperature conditions, maybe your sensor is not working well, so it needs to be tested. Its inability to adjust energy consumption based on ambient light levels, and so on. OK, my last slide, it is very important, call to action. We all know many things about this, but how to do our bit? So look, it's not only the onus of the developer or the team to do their bit. We as a layman, we as a tester, we as a technological person, everybody has their role to play in bringing this greenness. So as a tester, we can contribute in this greenness by doing energy efficient testing, energy harvesting testing, and environmental impact assessment. We can assess the products or the device entire life cycle. So we have to be green right from the design to its disposal. And then we have to spread the carbon awareness, which I'm doing, of course. And you have to also verify the compliance or the standards that industry is building, that government is providing to us. With this, I have 1 minute. I can speak more. OK. When we talk about measuring power consumption, we can move on energy efficient procedures, like we can test our system accordingly, whether it is consuming more energy or not. We can test this. We have software tools nowadays to test whether my software is energy efficient or not. So I belong to a Speakers Bureau of Green Software Foundation. This is a non-profit organization which has been built by Microsoft, GitHub, ThoughtWorks, and Asim Hussain is the director of it. In that particular foundation, this organization is contributing on how to build on green softwares. So they are having meetups, they are having day-to-day conferences related to how to build upon green software, how to build, make sustainability a core concept in your entire life cycle of green software. So this energy harvesting evaluating can be done by shifting to cloud virtualization techniques and green Wi-Fi techniques. Then we can test our network efficiency. Again, we have many softwares. We have network protocols, green network protocols like LoRaWAN is there, Zigbee is there, which can be used at low cost and for testing my network efficiency. And at the last, we have to do the compliance testing in order for my product to be industry standard. So with this, I'll stop. Thank you. Yeah. So this is the last quote, which I usually quote, go green as there is no planet B. So we can all do our bit. We can save upon power. We can do mobile dieting. We can delete unused mails. And we can maybe avoid sending thank you mails, which is not needed. Of course, it is needed in official setup. But if it is not needed, please stop sending that. Because each and every digital transaction is somewhere around emitting carbon. And I read it somewhere, if entire UK people stop sending thank you mails for one entire day, it will save upon fuel, which can send 700 flights from UK to Amsterdam. So if even your passive mails, which you are not reading, which is not needed, please delete them. That will save upon environment. Because passive mails are also consuming energy, emitting meager amount of carbon, but that meager amount, when cumulatively seen, it's very high. Thank you with this note.
Dr. Anubha JAIN. It was a comprehensive presentation. We have only 1 or 2 minutes for the questions, but let's check the questions, because I think there will be a lot of questions. Yeah, there is. Does Green IoT deal only with power consumption or also with chemical pollution? Example, greener batteries.
Yes. Green IoT is dealing with power consumption, and I think chemical pollution, again, comes under your energy efficient techniques. So we are moving towards recyclable batteries. Earlier, the batteries which were made were not recyclable. But nowadays, they are moving towards green RFIDs and greener batteries, which are now being produced, researched upon. So this is being done.
How is security testing
connected? I know this question will come. I definitely knew this. So again, when we talk about IoT, we talk about data. The huge amount of data that is being generated in each and every country. We need to provide data privacy and data safety to that particular data. So security testing has to be an integral part of Green IoT, because everybody is talking about data privacy and data confidentiality. So it's not just about measuring greenness. We have to measure the greenness in a whole. So if the system is not safe, but it is green, would you like that system? No, you will not like it. So you have to do the security testing too. So we were talking about measuring greenness, but as a whole.
One more question. What is your opinion? No, sorry.
On the paradigm, I'll read it. What is your opinion on the paradigm that the energy consumption of a society indicates its example? I did not get the last line. Indicates its, okay, that's shifted. Indicates its capability of growth. Definitely, it does. Reason being, the more we are aware, more we are moving to the greener solutions, we'll go towards minimalist approach, I tell you, if we do that. So that society is going to grow further, because they will think about the future solutions. They are talking about futuristic solutions, right? So definitely, the growth of society depends upon how fast we adapt to the greener technologies and greener solutions. We should not overconsume whatever has been given to us. We definitely has to put a stop. Otherwise, as I told you, the amount of energy consumption that is predicted by 2030, it is predicted that many countries will not have that energy left or electricity supply left. So there might be a time when entire country goes under darkness. So we have to think about those greener solutions.